welcome back to my channel. My name is Coco and today we are talking about the day the earth blew up. So if you haven't heard about this movie, I'm not even slightly surprised. This movie had no marketing budget and I'm gonna get into that. A little disclaimer, I might get a little passionate about the Looney Tunes because I just feel like I have a special connection to them. I worked at Six Flags Great America and I actually got to be friends with the characters. So I gotta be friends with Bugs Bunny. I gotta be friends with I almost said Donald Duck. What a sin. Daffy Duck and Porky Pig and stuff. So these characters are a really big part of my life and I care about them a lot. Enough nostalgia. Let's talk about the things that are going on at Warner Brothers right now. There were 3 Looney Tunes movies that were set to be released direct to streaming services. That is until a new CEO came in. His name is David Zaslav and he seems to have a personal vendetta against Looney Tunes. He didn't just say we're not doing these projects anymore. I need you to understand that these projects were being made and completed. So one of the movies that was supposed to come out was called Bye Bye Bunny, starring Bugs Bunny, of course, and that was going to be the first Looney Tunes musical feature-length film. What happened is David Zaslav took that movie, crumpled it up, threw it in the trash, and instead of releasing it for people to see, he's just using it as a tax write-off. And unfortunately, the same thing happened to a movie called Coyote vs. Acme. So with Coyote vs. Acme, that one was going to be similar to how the original Space Jam was, kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Looney Tunes Back in Action. So it was going to be the classic 2D animated character acting alongside a real person in the real world. Coyote vs. Acme was supposed to be like a court drama movie, and it was going to be very David versus Goliath, Little Coyote takes on the big evil Acme Corporation. And the evil lawyer is John Cena. I need you to understand, it wasn't going to be John Cena, it was John Cena. They filmed this movie, they fully edited this movie. This movie exists. It is in the world, but we are not able to see it because, again, it was taken and hidden in the archives as a tax write-off. And this really sucks because we might never get to see it. And apparently they hosted a funeral viewing of the movie. So all the people who got to work on it at least got to see it. And so many of them were like, hey, this is my best work. And this really stinks that there's a possibility that some people are never going to see this. Another notable person, not only is John Cena in this, but one of the big writers and producers on this is James Gunn, and James Gunn is responsible for making the 3 Guardians of the Galaxies movies. He also made the second Suicide Squad movie, which starred John Cena. But what happened was the same fate was supposed to happen to this movie, the day the earth blew up. Warner Brothers wanted to scrap this movie, but this company called Ketchup Entertainment was like, hey, this is so beautifully animated, this is really special, I think people should see this. We would love to buy the distribution rights to this. Compared to Warner Brothers and Disney, they're a very small company and they did not have the marketing budget for this. So they were able to distribute it, they just weren't able to promote it as much. A lot of fans of animation and Looney Tunes have been spreading the word, so it has been getting out there, and the movie was originally supposed to get pulled from theaters the second Disney's Snow White came in, but since so many people are going out to see it and supporting it, it's having a longer time in theaters. So that's really awesome because word on the street is Ketchup Entertainment is looking to purchase the Coyote vs. Acme movie. So that's really exciting, and I hope they're able to get it, or I hope someone's able to get it. Let's get into what you are here for. Now, I know I have Marvin the Martian here. Marvin the Martian is not in this movie. It is starring Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, and there is an alien invasion. So this is a comedy movie, but it also has a lot of horror aspects in it. But something that I thought was really cool is instead of just making fun of the horror genre, they really paid homage. Is that what people say? They really paid homage, tomato, you let me know. Anyways, it wasn't like they were making fun of horror movies, it's they really were paying tribute. Some of the horror movies that they took inspiration from include Evil Dead, The Thing, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I seriously cannot talk about this movie without talking about how beautiful and captivating the animation was. It was really stunning, completely hand-drawn, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm really glad that the artists and people who worked so hard on this were able to show and share their work. I think this movie was really special because it took Looney Tunes, brought it back to formula. It really felt like someone uncovered an old missing Looney Tunes movie. Like, it felt so timeless and so classic. The only way that you can tell it wasn't is because there was just like a few things. Like, there was one influencer joke, which usually like stuff like that just like makes you roll your eyes and like, oh, they're trying so hard to be modern. But it was so short. Something that I really liked is I love like contrasting characters. It makes for a really great dynamic because they're kind of like an odd couple to see them together. Their characterization and dynamics were a little different than ways that we've seen them in the past. So for this movie, they were kind of raised as brothers by this guy, Farmer Jim. And they had a really cute montage in the beginning. Baby Porky is the cutest thing in the world. And in the montage, something that I thought was really great is they are already establishing that Daffy's like a sweet guy. Like, in the past, we've seen Daffy as being like very narcissistic, very self-centered. In this, he is just a sweet guy who just gets a little carried away with his looniness, and it just happens to cause so many problems for Porky because they're always together. And that even starts out at the beginning because Daffy's just doing something wild. I think he hits a shelf or something, and a vase on the shelf falls and hits Porky on the head, and that's when Porky starts stuttering. It's kind of cool to get like an origin of his iconic stutter. The movie starts taking off when Farmer Jim has to leave, and he tells the boys like, take care of the house and stick together. Just fast forwards a couple years, the house looks crazy, a home inspector is on the way. So they're kind of like jerry-rigging this house together. The inspection lady, she comes over and she checks it out, and she goes, it's all good except for that giant hole in the roof. If you do not have it fixed in a week, we're shutting down this house. So now the ball's really rolling because they're like, oh my gosh, we have to save this house because we promised Farmer Jim that we're gonna stick together and take care of the home. They get these jobs, but every single job they get, Daffy just does something loony and messes it up and they get fired. Next thing you know, they meet Petunia Pig, and I love the way they made Petunia in this movie. She is so adorable and she's such a little freak weirdo. She is a science girly, but not in like a Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob, like she's a super inventor scientist girl. No, she's like a Willy Wonka scientist. But instead of chocolate, she's trying to figure out how to push the boundaries of flavors and experiences that you get when you chew gum. So she meets the boys and then she ends up being like, hey, why don't you guys come work at the gum factory? And that's where their friendship starts to blossom. And then for Porky, it's kind of like romance is starting to blossom. And I think they had a really nice like romantic subplot going on. Porky is very preoccupied with like talking to Petunia, flirting with Petunia, and Daffy's kind of like left without a chaperone. And even though he's an adult duck, this boy needs supervision, okay? When he's running around the town, he's noticing like all these weird things. And holy cow, when people chew this gum, they turn into zombies. And Daffy quickly uncovers this whole conspiracy theory that it runs deeper than just zombies. Their bodies are getting taken over by like an alien host. And the aliens are taking over these people and also using them to watch and spy on everyone else who isn't chewing the gum. Now, since the alien has surveillance, he sees Daffy and he's like, oh no, someone has figured out my plan. I have to stop him. And then he's just kind of observing Daffy for a couple minutes and he's like, oh, this is the town idiot. The town idiot found out the secret, but no one is going to believe him. And that's all I'm going to say because I'm not spoiling this movie for you. I really think you should go out and see it. There is a plot twist up the wazoo. But I will say, if you haven't noticed, I have ADHD, and when I'm watching movies, so many wheels are turning in my head, and I'm like trying to figure out what happens before it happens. And Every single time I was like, oh, this is gonna happen. Oh, this is gonna happen. And then every single time I said that, it didn't happen. Except for with the basic stuff, because I'm gonna be real with you. As much as I'm like praising the story and saying, oh, like, oh my gosh, it's so good. It is a good story, but it is a very basic story. You're not gonna leave the theater and be like, wow, that story really changed my life. I feel like the trajectory of my life is gonna change and I learned an important lesson here. It is like, very much like, oh, they're gonna save the day, the earth isn't gonna blow up, and even though their relationship got rocky, they're gonna reconcile in the end. I don't think that's considered a spoiler. I think that is just so, like, beyond obvious of what is gonna happen in this movie, you know? Ooh, something else that I would really, really like to give a huge shout out to is the voice actor. His name is Eric Baza. He does the voices of both Porky and Daffy, and it's super impressive. And then I found out he doesn't only do the voices of Porky and Daffy in that movie, he does the voice work in the new Looney Tunes shows. He sometimes does Bugs Bunny as well. It doesn't just stop there. He voices a bunch of the other Looney Tunes characters too, like Tweety Bird, Marvin the Martian, Elmer Fudd, Sylvester. So that is just like crazy, crazy impressive, and I just want to give a round of applause for that alone. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on adding this movie to my collection. I think it is something that I am going to be watching every Halloween. It feels like you've been teleported back in time. You have a bowl of cereal, it's Saturday morning, and you're just like watching old reruns. It's so great. I would love to know if you're planning on seeing the movie. If you saw the movie, what are your thoughts? Like, do you think I'm overhyping it? Or are we feeling the same right now? Are we connecting right now? Anyways, that is going to be all for today, and I will see you next time.